Before trying a restaurant for the first time or visiting a new attraction, I always check the business's reviews. No matter how stunning a website or how trendy the branding, I want to hear from actual customers about their actual experience before diving in. As a business owner, positive reviews speak volumes. But unfortunately, negative reviews can do the same. How should you respond to the positive Pollys and negative Nancys? Let's get into it. Welcome to Almost Productive, a podcast mostly about marketing.
I'm Sean.
I'm Julie.
I'm Addie.
And I'm Ben.
And we're all marketing professionals at New Boston Creative Group in Manhattan, Kansas. Okay, everybody. Today we are talking about a very exciting concept. If you were to win the lottery, so in lieu of a would you rather question, in lieu of a whiteboard question, we're getting into the really meaty discussion of if you were to win the lottery, but there's some stipulations. You only have one day to spend the money, and you can't buy a house, you can't start a fund, you can't buy stocks and bonds and whatever. It has to be strictly material. What are you buying?
Well, if you already have a house, can you pay off your mortgage?
Nope, none of that.
It's like only fun
Ew.
things, not adult life things.
Oh, yeah.
It's not fun to have a roof over your head?
No.
Very monotonous.
No. Okay.
Yeah, that's really boring.
That
Julie.
should be basic. That should be a very normal thing.
Right. You could almost say it's like a basic human right. So not fun.
I'll say it. It's a basic human right.
So I think the easy answer is just like massive vacation.
Mm.
Ooh.
So
Okay, tell me about the vacation.
well, yeah, I don't know if I have the details, but it's obviously like something super long in the best hotels, jumping many countries. I think is
But
the easy
if you only have one day to spend it, does that mean you only have one day to use it? Like, do you need to get on a plane for 24 hours and go crazy?
I just assumed I had to book all those materials in a day.
I think you just have to book all of them in a day.
Okay.
Like whatever you have, then you get to keep and use and have forever, or until you lose it or experience it, and then it's over.
But if you don't purchase the meals ahead of time, you don't have like a meal pass, everything you buy when you're there, anything you want to bring back as a souvenir, that's your own cash.
Good call. So I need to also load up on like Visa gift cards sort of situation.
This could be its own segment where we ask really simple, like, would you rather, really easy run-of-the-mill questions, and you guys just poke holes in it. Like,
Right. The fun's
That's
on the edges.
brand for us.
Very, very on brand. So let's assume you just have to book everything. It's all taken care of. There's no like intense planning. You just need to think about it and it happens.
I have a very specific answer for this. This has always been like if I ever somehow come into way more money than I could ever have and spend it all already on the normal stuff like student loans, I'd want an electronic wind instrument. I used to play the saxophone in the marching band at K-State, and I still have a saxophone, but it's just like I have no time, and it's also hard to play it out loud without annoying my neighbors. And you can get like really expensive. We're talking like $5,000 for an electronic wind instrument. Has all the sounds that you want, so you can play like it's the saxophone, but it sounds like a violin and stuff like that. I think it's so cool. You can play it with earbuds, so the nice ones have like Bluetooth and stuff like that. I think I'd love an EWI, an electronic wind instrument.
Best name for an instrument ever.
I agree.
Ever an EWI.
Mhm.
That's so cute. Okay, very good answers. Well, good answer, Ben. Sean, I still need some details about destination of the vacation.
We'll go, we're jumping through Europe, we're getting to Spain and Italy, Greece, getting into, we're going to get into every continent. So we got to go like Morocco. Let's check out India, Bali, Australia. Let's just go the whole route. Japan, to circle the globe.
So like a real whirlwind.
I think
Okay,
so.
I like it.
I think so. And I have enough money that I can spend, maybe a week in each location to really soak it in, because I don't like having to go too quickly. So
I like it. No qualms. You answered all the questions, I think. Julie?
Well, I mean, why not book 5 trips why not buy a couple of cars? I would probably have a car in there in the list.
What kind of car?
Actually, nothing fancy. I already have a decent car. I'd replace my husband's. I'm so bad at this game. I might get an embroidery machine because, as we discussed, those can run anywhere from $500 to like $12,000. So I'd never buy that on my own.
Yeah. And just for clarity, these are the embroidery machines where you put in the design and then it does the whole thing for you automatically. You're not doing any of the sewing yourself. That's where the $12,000 goes.
And they have like, it's 6 to 12 different thread colors. And then it'll just pick up within the design what to do. What do I want to embroider? Nothing. I have nothing to embroider. But man, if I had money to burn and one day to burn it, why not?
Everything. Then everything could be embroidered.
Oh, yeah. Molly has a good one on the chat. If you want to go futuristic, it was personal robot chef. I mean, you could just go with personal chef, just like prepay a year's salary or whatever, the amount that we have to spend. That's a good one.
Yeah. Or Sean, you said, I'd just get a gift card. I mean, why not get like 1,000 gift cards? Be like, woo, make it rain at the retailer
because
of your
that's
choice.
not the game, you guys. Because that's not the game.
Right. Addie wants us to say, 100 pounds of gummy bears.
See, if
better.
we're doing that,
Right.
I don't think you can buy a vacation that you can't take within a day. That's a slippery slope. Oh, yes. Molly wrote puppy resort in the chat. And, I could buy like one less than the number of hoarding dogs. Like
The one less that puts you over the limit where they're like, you have a
Exactly.
problem.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd want to
I like
go
that.
to
like a big plot of.
Oh, sorry, Addie, go ahead. No, you go.
No. Just like go all in. A big plot of land, a bunch of employees. Basically, you're just starting your own business or nonprofit.
Nonprofit
Very
puppy resort
altruistic.
is pretty good.
That is pretty good. Yeah. I think I would just have to say jewelry of some kind, like some really fat diamonds, like some really high carat, high quality, all the K's, not the K's, all the C's.
To
spell
wear
check.
or to resell after the 24-hour period is up.
To
I'm
wear,
really
Julie, to wear.
I like how, man, Julie games this so well.
I know.
Actually, back to the puppy resort. I would also donate a shit ton to charity. Like, if someone's already running the puppy resort, I don't need to run it. Like, have $1 million.
Yeah.
I'm just assuming that we are all going to do that. So then we're not. even
Yeah,
bothered
exactly. That was like
to
a
talk
given.
about
I didn't
it.
think we
Like,
had to say what amount we were giving to charity. Like
Right.
both Ben and I already agreed. We were also giving at least as much as Julie was, if not more.
Yeah, probably more. No, Julie, I like it because like if I want that to be included. I definitely did not think of it because in my version of events, I bought an iwi, bought nothing else, and gave nothing to charity. Just lost the rest of my winnings, never used it in the day. So I agree. Yes, all the rest that you don't spend goes to charity.
Yeah. I funded lunches for underprivileged children. I just didn't say it. But that was in addition.
I was just busy playing sick licks on my iwi, and
Yeah.
I had no idea. I was like, oh yeah, charity exists. Thank
Right.
you.
In each of my vacation stops, I then fund a nonprofit.
in each of those countries,
Yeah.
in each of those
Wow.
cities. Okay.
Obviously.
Wow.
So we've established we're all great people. We're all really generous humans. And I feel like that really puts a bow on it. Good discussion, gang. Thank you for taking that very seriously and poking all of the holes. I really, really appreciate it.
No
You're
problem.
welcome.
Even if it sounds like I don't, I do. I really appreciate it. Okay. And before we dive into our main topic today, it's time to hear from our sponsor.
I love my grandkids, but I only understand every third word when they're telling me a story. Taylor who? What's a gyat? Why are you saying period in the middle of a sentence?
My grandma is impossible to understand. Like, sis, what are you even saying?
Have you and your loved ones faced similar communication barriers? Are the Gen Zers in your family struggling to understand boomer lingo? And vice versa? Introducing Yak Through the Years, the latest in generational translation technology.
Yak Through the Years understood the assignment. Now I can actually hear stories from the olden days. Grandma was a low-key baddie back in her day.
Thanks to Yak Through the Years, I know exactly what my grandsons are talking about. And frankly, I wish I did not.
Order your Yak Through the Years today. This product is the GOAT. No cap. This product is far out. It's bangin', tubular, the absolute coolest.
Yeah.
Well, thank you to that fantastic sponsor, really doing the Lord's work, connecting generations. We appreciate you. Now we're going to get into our main topic, which is responding to reviews. So I want to start out just kind of generally. When do you all seek out reviews? What platforms do you look at when you're searching? Take me through that journey.
For me, it depends on, I guess, what transaction I'm doing. If I'm purchasing a product, I'm going to read the reviews on whatever that store shop is. I might even go to a couple different spots and see if the reviews differ between sites to try to get a consistent message. If I'm booking a hotel, it's a similar story. I'm going to check maybe in a couple places to see what everybody's options are, what they're saying about it.
Most likely I would go to the Google business profile and see the reviews there. However, to Sean's point, that's less product driven. I'd probably turn to Amazon for product stuff.
Yeah, I was going to say this similar thing. Looking in those places, in multiple places where they're selling the product and seeing reviews. But when it comes to restaurants or places I'm going, especially when I'm traveling, it's probably going to be the Google business listing or sometimes Yelp. Because sometimes Yelp, people get really personal on Yelp, and it helps a lot to know like what could possibly go wrong in a restaurant. So kind of having multiple places to pull from definitely helps.
Yeah, because on Google Maps, you're going to get the Google business listing. And if you're on Apple Maps, I think you get Yelp. So depending on what you're using, you'll get either.
Definitely. Yeah, I do all of those things. And then I would just add, Ben kind of mentioned when traveling, maybe TripAdvisor. Sometimes I'll check that out for different attractions, but restaurants are the usual day-to-day kind of thing. And restaurants are a primary place for businesses to have reviews. I'm going to read a quick stat here. According to a survey by Touch Bistro, nearly half of restaurant goers check online reviews before deciding on a place to eat. So that's crazy. 50% of people about to go decide on a restaurant. And then younger audiences are more likely to check online reviews. Not super shocking there. The younger generations are definitely more plugged in online. But especially interesting, millennials, 67% of millennials are checking online reviews before deciding on a restaurant. That's crazy. 70% of people. So just as we have this conversation, I think it's important to keep in mind how important reviews are, not just for restaurants, but all businesses.
I think it's crazy that 30% of people don't.
Right. Yeah. If I'm in a new place and looking for somewhere to eat, like, it's like, okay, what are spots that are 4.5 stars and above just to start with? Like, yeah, I'll eliminate you real quick.
Yeah. I think the only time I ever don't is if like somebody I know and trust has recommended it to me directly. Like I've been here, you're going to love it. And I'm like, okay, our friendship is riding on this.
Has that ever happened to you? That's happened to me with, I don't know about friends, but family members will recommend a restaurant and we get there and I'm like, oh, this isn't exactly what I thought it would be. And then I check the reviews and it's like 1.7 stars. I'm like, why? Why did you send me here?
It's cheap.
Always check. It's cheap. That could be.
Bang for your buck.
Always check those reviews.
They sing a song on your birthday.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So that leads into my next question. When you're reading these reviews, regardless of platform that you're on, what do you consider to be red flags for a business and then green flags for a business?
Whenever I see a lot of like 5-star reviews, but I cannot find a single one with any detail, like it's just like so good, my favorite place, I'm like, oh, this is spam. Like this is somebody like went and added it themselves. There's no actual information, because I'm looking for information. Even if they're telling me it's 4 stars, I'm like, that's pretty good, but I want to know what's actually happening there. So it doesn't matter what the rating is if there's no real content within the reviews to read and to discern.
Yeah, that's like almost another conversation. It's like the meta of interpreting reviews of like, okay, what is someone who wrote them 5 stars? What did they say? And did it matter? And if someone gave them 2 stars, but what they said also didn't matter, you can sort of disregard. But yeah, as far as like the red flag, green flag, how you respond to reviews is big. Obviously, if you're responding while providing help for, that review person versus just like sort of blowing them off and not really providing any helpful information, that's also something. If I can see that like for every review, they're sort of just spamming the same generic message at everybody, I can tell like, yeah, they're responding, but they're not really paying attention.
I'll also look for the star distribution. So like not just the overall star, but if you have, a lot of 5s, a good portion of 4s, and then a couple of 2s and 1s, that's par for the course. Not everyone is happy all the time, but if the distribution is, very average, or a lot of 5s and a lot of 1s, that'll make me raise my eyebrows. I'll also look at how recent the reviews are. So like if a restaurant has a lot of 1-star reviews, but they're like 3 years old and everything in the last 6 months is positive, I'm willing to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Absolutely agree. And I would just add pictures. Green flag, a lot of green flag. Really any pictures of the food, of the ambiance, of the experience there. Sometimes when a business doesn't have any photos from reviewers, I'm like, does this exist? Is it real? Is this a thing? So photos, I think, are super helpful. Now I wanted to talk a little bit about handling reviews. So let's start as a business owner. What are some tips for handling good reviews?
I just usually say like, yeah, we know. And
we got it.
is that what I should be doing?
That's perfect. I was going to say replying is the most important thing, but I take that back. Replying mostly is the most important thing to a certain degree. Yeah, just a super like general brief, thank you so much. Or sometimes if they say something specific that they enjoyed, kind of reiterating how important that is to you and your business. So if they said, our waitress Tina gave us really great service, saying, like we really take pride in helping our customers get the most out of their enjoyment here, yada, yada, if you have the time to do that. Okay, so that's the easy stuff. What about bad reviews? How should companies be handling bad reviews when they come in?
So when responding to these bad reviews, you need to sort of handle it carefully. You don't want to overshare about the situation because that's not a good look. You don't want to call that person out if it's unnecessary and sort of air your dirty laundry, so to speak, on the review. So, just sort of, mention that, yes, you've heard their concern and that you're sorry and, maybe mention what you're doing to make it better or to help that individual. But yeah, sort of handle it with, carefully in that way with the details.
Yeah. And if you're going to offer to continue that conversation, offer to take it offline or like, off the review platform. Say like, oh, hey, we want to make this right for you. Email us at this email, that way, when it's time to actually get into the nitty gritty, people will see, oh, they're willing to have that conversation with me. But what that conversation actually looks like will depend on the reviewer. And that doesn't have to be made in the public because you never know what you're going to get.
I know sometimes I will see the business reply just as aggressively as the bad review. And it's like I grab my popcorn and I just start eating and watching. And normally I'm not a troller, a comment troller or anything. But yeah, if you put it on the platform for all to see, people will see.
Right. Be ready to sort of own that if that's the route you're going to go. I don't think, but that's usually not most businesses.
Yeah. there's a reflex on social media, especially for like, it feels like fast food accounts to get real sassy with their people. But that's like a full brand strategy they've developed. This is Wendy's. This isn't your small business. They have a plan for that. It's different when we're talking about your Google review or your Facebook page, where a lot of people come and aren't expecting to be treated like you're meeting up with your middle school bully. So keep that in mind as well.
Agree. I think just like with anything, kind of treat people the way you would want to be treated. You are also a person who reads reviews, probably. So thinking about what kind of turns you off when you see those, like a brand or a business kind of throwing an employee under the bus, maybe like, oh, well, he was a new hire and he this and didn't do this, this and this. You want to have, your employees' back. That's not a great look. Don't be sassy. Don't be rude. To Ben's point, some of those personas are kind of key to a brand, but that's a persona that they've developed, not advisable for the everyday business. So those are all really good tips.
I have a question as someone who doesn't know for you three. Can you and should you at times like remove or block these reviews? What's the protocol there?
There are some mechanisms, like on Facebook, a lot of people can leave spam reviews where they're not actual reviews of your business. And they'll say things like, I made a great $500 investment and tripled my money. And you're like, that has nothing to do with my Yemeni restaurant here. So there are mechanisms for reporting like spam reviews.
I would say a lot of Facebook pages and websites also, or I'm not sure about Yelp listings, but let's use Facebook for this example. You can have kind of your code of conduct on your page. So if that says like no cursing, no bullying will be tolerated, and someone does curse in a review, then no questions asked. You can just get that out of there because it's violating the kind of culture, for lack of a better word, that you're trying to cultivate on your page. I would still maybe recommend, depending on how crazy the review is, reaching out to that person. If you do, especially if you're like a new starting business in a small community, trying to reach out to that person to make it right or see what happened. But otherwise, yeah, definitely just delete it, block that person, be gone. You don't need them.
So definitely add no leaving 1 or 2 star reviews to your code of conduct. And then that just, that's going to solve the problem.
Right, that'll take care of it.
Yeah.
Hot tips here today. It's perfect.
One other thing, too, is, on a website, you have the benefit of being able to curate your reviews. But for that reason, as a user, I never fully trust the website reviews. So I do think it's important to solicit them on third-party platforms.
This might be a different subject altogether, but in the form of testimonials, that can be really helpful because then you're telling a specific story of what happened to you that put on a website. So people can go, oh, that's kind of like my situation. This might be a good fit if they've helped somebody like me. But if it's something more vague or more general in the form of the ways that certain reviews can be, it might not be the thing to put on your website.
Yeah, and if you're going through the effort of generating reviews, it's probably worth it to direct people to your Google business listing to actually leave a review, which would, I think, benefit you way more than just listing them on your website if you're going about it. But yeah, having testimonials on the website is also a great thing to do.
And this is kind of circling back to Julie's point. I think it was Julie's point. Negative reviews can be beneficial for you to learn as a business too. So instead of just taking in a 1 or 2 star review and kind of tossing it to the side and saying, well, they're mean and they didn't understand what we were going for and yada, yada, na, na, na. Like, that's a great learning and growing opportunity for you and your business if they do have a legitimate concern that maybe you can try to not have other people have in the future. Okay. Any other general tips for businesses replying, gathering testimonials or reviews?
Well, I was going to say, even better than waiting for that bad review to come as a learning opportunity is to walk through the customer journey before opening your doors or before launching a new product or dish or whatever the case may be. Work with a marketing company to pinpoint all the steps in the process to see where you can improve before you get dinged out in the public arena.
Yeah, and I think I'll just double down on the negative review as an opportunity to not only learn from that, but like the way that you respond to it really shows a lot to someone who's looking through those reviews and can redeem a lot and just show the character of your business. So it is a great opportunity to even do something great, even though someone gave you 2 stars instead.
Yeah. No one ever expects you to never make a mistake. Like, that's an unreasonable expectation of any business. But if you're out there doing the work to fix it, then I think a lot of people are going to appreciate that more than saying nothing or trying to hide the bad review.
Right. And if you address it head on, then people will think maybe it's the reviewer who's really at issue here. Blame the customer. Best rule in business, gang. You heard it here.
The customer is always wrong, incorrect.
They are always at fault.
And I've always said that. That's perfect. It's a perfect note to end on. And to end, I would ask you listening, if you've enjoyed our podcast, leave us a review. We would really appreciate it. 5 stars would be awesome. But if not, hopefully we can learn how to improve. So we all appreciate you listening. Okay, so to close, I have 3 jokes a la Molly that I'm very excited about. I think that these are a really good batch. Okay, so first, which knight at the round table was the beefiest?
Sirloin.
Nice.
So good, sirloin.
It's solid 7 out of 10.
Perfect.
8, because I guessed it. So I'm
8,
happy.
because Ben guessed it.
Thank you, Julie.
Perfect. Okay. The next 2 are less call and response and more just sentences that are jokes. I ate a kid's meal at McDonald's today. His mother did not seem happy.
Yeah. Even though I could see where that was going, it's still like a 9 or a 10. It was great.
Classic.
A 7 because I didn't guess that one.
Julie.
I don't like to leave negative reviews online.
You can. That's how we grow. That's how we learn. It's the whole thing.
I'll give it a 3.
Okay.
But I've been told that I need to know my audience.
We appreciate
Okay.
your review, and we hope to do better in the next joke.
Email us at podcast at newbostoncreative.com.
Oh, I was just Ben. Just email Ben
sorry,
directly.
at ben at
Email Ben.
newbostoncreative.com.
I'd like to be clear that is not a review of Molly, because Molly, solid 10 of a human being.
Agree. Round of applause for Molly. We love Molly. Okay, last one for the day. You gotta hand it to short people because they can't reach it.
Man, yeah, she did great. Another
Straight
solid
10.
9.
That's an
10
8.
for me.
Very good.
Oh, amazing. Well, thank you all for the great discussion, and thank you so much again to Molly for those killer jokes. I think that's my favorite batch so far. Thank you for listening to this episode of Almost Productive. Before we go, we'd like to give a shout out to our producers Nick and Molly, who work behind the scenes to make this podcast possible. If you'd like to learn more about what we do at New Boston Creative Group, you can reach us at newbostoncreative.com. You can also follow us on social media at New Boston Creative on Instagram and New Boston Creative Group on Facebook and LinkedIn. If you liked this episode, please like, follow, subscribe, leave a review, and share the podcast with your friends. And if you didn't like the show, feel free to recommend us to your enemies. Tune in next time for more office shenanigans, thoughts on trending topics, and marketing-adjacent insights. Until next time, we hope you have a productive day.
Bye. That's the end of the episode.
Oh,
Just wanna
that's
say
it?
bye.
We're
That's
audio.
it.
We're
Yeah,
audio.
it's
But
over,
I-
Julie.
There's so much more I wanted to say.
It's over now.
Leave a
though.
review then.
Right. Leave a review, exactly.
Did you really have more to say, Julie? Do we need
No.
to? Okay.